Hey, what's good, everyone? It's your boy Matt Diazbo coming at you with some new album reviews. We back at it, baby. Yeah. Today I am checking out the brand new album from Black Tusk with their new album, The Way Forward. Black Tusk are like a sludgy metal band, I guess you could say. They've been around since about 2005 and are based out of Savannah, Georgia. I've always kind of seen their name, but because I got into metal, hardcore kind of late in my life, I think these guys just didn't really like catch on to me, or I just didn't notice them soon enough. But I'm happy because of these reviews I'm doing. I'm checking out bands and musicians that I'm like either overlooked, didn't really like take the time to look for or try to listen to. So I am going out of my way to listen to this band, and they've been consistently making some sludgy music for about 20 years now. And with my first experience with this album, I gotta say, a little indifferent about it here and there. And hopefully, my explanations are not crazy or anything. And you guys want to check out this review. So let's get into it. Yay. Black Tusk might be looking forward with this new LP, but I'm not too sure if it's in the right direction or not. So this is my first introduction with this band, and I gotta say, I'm not too sure of whether this is supposed to be who they are or they're moving in a different direction because I can't really pinpoint what's good and what's bad on this album. It doesn't help that this is my first time listening, but something about this album does feel a little off. This band's been around for like 20 years now, so I'm not too sure if like the sound they're trying to make here is on purpose or they're kind of skating on by because at times the sludgy music can sound really like professional and really tight, and then at other times it can sound really amateur at best. Like the first thing I noticed here was the riffs. I know I've heard sludge metal before, but I couldn't tell if like the riffs here are being like really like dope and really sludgy or just really uninspiring. It was really hard to tell because sometimes they sounded really hard, really tough, and just kind of awesome. While other times they felt kind of like lackluster, a little boring, and just like they're going through the motions. Like on the opening track, Out of Grass, I really couldn't get a sense if the riffs are supposed to sound like that or they are just kind of feeling a little bit lazy. So I want to play a clip of that so you can get an idea of what I heard, and maybe you could tell me if I'm right or wrong. Yeah, I'm not too sure how I feel about those riffs. The vocals on this album range from like deep and husky to really high pitched screaming. And I feel like these two different types of vocal styles really clash on this album because it feels like they're like when they're singing, it just feels like two different bands are being made and played here. And I want to say that the more deeper, huskier sounding vocals tend to go more like in favor of the sludgy, dark feel of these songs, while the high pitched vocals don't really match that well, I think. Particularly on the track Lessons Through Deception, the husky vocals really come through and sound really good after listening to those clean vocals. Majority of the cleaner vocals on this album are, they just don't really mesh well, I think. So I want to play a clip of that for you right now. Like the name of the band is called Black Tusk. Those husky vocals really make it feel very dark and sinister. The drum and bass section of the band is pretty interesting. The drums have a really good, nice flow to them and play a very dynamic style that has a very big and bold feel to it. They definitely are one of the more interesting parts of this band. He was able to keep everything really tight and heavy at the same time, while the bass, ooh, that bass throughout this album is thick and heavy. It just adds so much meaty heaviness to their songs. Particularly on the song Dance on Your Grave, the way he's playing the bass, it just sounds dope. And he is probably one of the most consistent things about this band. So I want to play a clip of that for you right now. That combination of bass and drums right there, ooh, killer. Overall, my experience with this album and this band, maybe because I don't know who they fully are and I need to listen to them more, but I couldn't really grasp like what makes this band so like awesome slash why they are juggernauts in the sludge category of metal, because there were parts where they were like sounding pretty good and there were parts where they weren't sounding that great. Like it's a very mixed bag of like not good and not bad at the same time. But I guess the few things I could say about it is like the bass and drums were probably the most interesting thing about this band. So it's not a complete like terrible album, I think. I just don't know if it's moving the band forward or backwards. It just feels kind of neutral in a decent way. That sounds a little bit of a contradicting thing to say, but it's really hard for me to describe and how I feel about this band, Black Tusk, because there were some moments I like, some moments I didn't. So I would say overall, this album, moving forward from Black Tusk, is a solid 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, I feel like I definitely need to do a more of a deep dive of their discography and learn more about them, because they've got a long history of music and I'm down to check them out more. So links down below. Tell me what you think. Recommend any other bands or any musicians. I'm always open to new artists, so help me out with that. And until next time, guys, see you in the pit.